What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? I don't know what kind of answer you got when you asked that question, but ask yourself, what am I waiting for? Don't wait for that time when there's tremendous adversity in your life to say, okay, this is my wake-up call now. Create that sense of urgency now. So there's a great quote. It says, you know what? If you want to change something, change it. If you can't change it, change your attitude. Don't complain. Ask yourself now where I am in this present moment, in my work. And ask yourself, I always ask this of my clients, on a scale of 1 to 10, meaning 10, yeah, you know what, totally fulfilled. Can't even think of growing, even though I think we either evolve or we dissolve in life. Ask yourself, how happy are you in this work that you're doing? And be honest with yourself and truthful. Is it a 5? Is it a 10? Is it a 2? And now, today, I'm hoping you're going to create that sense of urgency. And the way you do that, folks, is that you take a should and you turn it into a must. How many people out there say, you know what, maybe I should be doing this differently in my job. And you know what, maybe I should be communicating more with the field. Or maybe I should be more open to some of the changes that are going on here. And there are a lot of changes that are going on. Or maybe even our private lives. You know, I should be exercising more. Or I should be doing this better in a relationship. You know what, folks, we should have done this, we should have done this, we should have done this. We end up shitting all over ourselves. That's what we do. You know that when you say I should do something, you know your mind's going to create an excuse for you not to do it. Who are you kidding? But when you make something a must, you create that sense of urgency, you will find a way. If I asked you right now, or if I told you, is that there was a swimming pool right here, and there was a little girl drowning in that swimming pool, you wouldn't say I should save her, you would say I must. There is no choice. It's that sense of urgency that goes off inside of you. Now, what's interesting is that we all have those should-haves in our lives. And you might say, okay, Scott, I understand that concept of turning shoulds to musts. How do you do it? You know what? You link pain to the situation. Whenever we experience enough pain in our lives, we will make a change. If I had an oven up here right now, and I asked each and every one of you to come up here and put your hand on that oven, and I turned it on high, sooner or later, each and every one of you would pick his or her hand up and remove your hand. We all have different thresholds of pain. But when we experience enough pain, we will make a change. So here's the question I have for you, is that think about right now, something here within your work, again, whether it's creating change or reacting to change. One thing that you'd like to change about your approach right now. One thing that you'd like to change. And ask yourself, how long has it been going on? How long have you wanted to make this change? And for many people, you know what, that's a lot of pain right there. That's enough to make a change because they think about, wow, it's been 6 months, it's been a year, it's been 2 years. For other people, they have more of a threshold for pain. If you haven't made this change, let's say in 6 months, a year, 2 years, take a glimpse into the future. Because if you haven't changed it by now, who's to say 5 years from now that this change still isn't going to take place in your life? Maybe that's enough change, enough pain in your life to make a change. Now, one other exercise that is powerful. See, there's something that I'm going to be sharing from time to time, is that when we put things down on a piece of paper, so much information, I'm going to share this so many times today, is that we are drowning in information and starving for knowledge. Drowning in information and starving for knowledge. Is that one thing you can do is basically take anything that is up here and put it down on a piece of paper. I suggest journaling to people. I suggest putting down to-do lists, whatever it is to relieve yourself up here. Put it down on paper so you can be fully present in the moment where you can create things. But one of these exercises, and it will transform your life. And any tough decision, any tough choice, any kind of change that you want to create in your life or react to, you create a cost and a payoff. You take a list and you say, what's this costing me? If I continue either not to make this change or not adapt to this change, whatever it is, or make this decision, what's it costing me? Meaning the negatives. The negatives. How is this hurting me? How is this preventing me from growing within this organization? How is this really preventing me from being happy? And then you do the payoff. The payoff. What's the payoff? Staying here. Because I'll tell you right now, if there's any change that you're thinking of creating in your life, and you're saying, my God, I hate this, I hate being this way. If you haven't made this change, I'm telling you now, there's more in that payoff list than there is in that cost. There's more that's serving you being in this situation than it is costing you. Because again, if there was enough pain by staying in the situation, you would make a change to your life. And you would make something happen. So exhaust everything. Put things down on a cost payoff. What's it costing me? And what's the payoff? Exhaust both lists. It's amazing, and I'll get into my own story in a little while, is that when I did this, with my own paralysis, with other parts of my life, with my work, everything, it's amazing to see, where we want to hide and where we're going to be real. But sooner or later, we got to be real. Sooner or later, we got to say to ourselves, hey, you know what? Now is the time. I need to create some change. I'm going to leave you with a story about connection and laughter and about, trying to create some kind of change and having that person not be open to change. And again, you can only do so much yourself. I remember taking a flight from Miami, Florida, where I lived at one time, to San Francisco, 5.5-hour flight. Now, being in a wheelchair and everything, I kind of I milk it a little bit. I try to use it to my advantage. Yeah, we get to the front lines at Disney World. We get special service somewhere. There are a lot of perks that go around being in the wheelchair, being disabled. So I try to get bumped up to first class. They always tell me to show up an hour and a half early. I kind of show up an hour and a half early, but I don't go up to the gate. I kind of hang out there for a while, and everyone's almost pre-boarded. So rather than disrupting someone back in 36A, let's see what's available for Mr. Chesney up front. Oh, okay, if you want to do that, you don't have to do that. That's okay. So on that day, they bumped me up to 1B. 1A was against the window, 1B was in the aisle. And all of a sudden, I'm the last one aboard the plane, and the lady who I'm about to sit next to and transfer over, they put me in a little aisle chair and I transfer. And I hadn't even transferred over yet, and I'm hearing this lady, it's too cold in here, where's my drink? What kind of movie's going on? I'm like, wow, this is going to be a hell of a long flight. So I transfer over, kind of keep them to myself, and the lady taps me on the shoulder. And she said, can you believe we have to sit on this flight for 5.5 hours? I said, ma'am, I've been sick for 15 years. I don't think this is going to kill us. This lady turned white, didn't say another word. I put my arm around her. She wanted nothing to do with me. Whether that woman has changed or not, I have no idea. I did what I could. Again, trying to have a sense of humor. But again, in any situation, you should be able to laugh. Folks, I really want to encourage you to really push the envelope, go far beyond your comfort zone, whatever you can. Don't leave here thinking, hey, you know what, I'm doing the best job that I can. Acknowledge the work that you've done. Acknowledge the success that you've created. Acknowledge this wonderful association. But ask yourself, you know what, how can I push a little bit further? What more can I be doing that maybe my mind's resistant? Because the heart does not resist. It will just go forward. As Mahatma Gandhi once said, be the change you wish to see in the world. Thank you, folks. Thank you so much.